Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
It is unbelievable, absolutely fucking unbelievable, the turn of events that have transpired within the course of the last week. I don't even know what to make of it. I have actually had to screenshot all of these reports and all the news articles that I read through because I ran out of space in my notebook. I didn't want to waste 7 pages of my notebook on the news, rumors, and reports section because I already waste about 10 on the weekly show reviews because I take this shit in detail. So trust me when I tell you, we are going to have a lot to talk about. It is going to be a loaded show. And if I'm saying it's going to be a loaded show, that can only mean that Saturday! You know what that means. We're live! Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you to the greatest fucking show on earth, streaming live on 5 different accounts across 4 different platforms with 3 magic syllables being echoed throughout the universe, that being DJ Storms. Do you hear that? It's going to be good. We're going to have a real good show tonight. Today, we have so many news, rumors, and reports to go over, including, I swear to God, I can't even tell you how many articles and reports and breaking news has transpired regarding Vince McMahon and why he's back and the sale of the company and Stephanie quitting. It's fucking ridiculous. Lawsuits being filed. The world is burning around us. The world is virtually burning around us. But we got a solid crowd here today. As of course, you already know who I am. Mr. Controversy and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle. No.
Oh, shit. Do you smell that?
Do you know what that is? That right there is the smell of so perfect fucking excellence. Wait for it. Wait for it. To mankind, this is the official lightning flash update for Saturday, January 14th, 2023. I still got it. You already know. Hologram, I have the best intro in all of the IWC. If I'm going to be remembered for one thing, it's going to be my fantastic fucking intro. But thank you very much for joining Hologram. Thank you to DD as well, and Peanuts, and Sleeping Angels. We got a nice, solid crowd so far, and I'm sure we're going to receive more people as we go along. We have a lot to discuss But before we get into that, as per usual, a little bit of self-brand promotion and advertisements. Please make sure that you follow me on social media at HistoryMakerDJS. That is at HistoryMakerDJS on both Twitter and Instagram. Please add me on Facebook as well for collaborations and business inquiries. Please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, all of those links are in the description. Plenty of new material coming this year as well. Next Thursday, January 19th, I will be going live with Mr. Earl Cole, baby. Earl Cole and I will be going live, and it will be my first wrestling experience of 2023. I always have a good time when I collaborate with Earl Cole. Earl Cole is a phenomenal individual. Earl Cole is a very knowledgeable individual, so I look forward to collaborating with him next Thursday evening at 7:30. We're going to be streaming live on my channel, Earl's channel, and the Hardcore Sports channel, so set your calendar dates for next Thursday on the 19th. Next Friday, January 20th, I will not be tweeting live for SmackDown, and I probably won't be tweeting live for Rampage either, because I will be headed to West Milford, New Jersey, next Friday, January 20th, because at 7:30, I will be attending ISPW's first ever show of the new year. It's ISPW Winter Warfare, and we got a loaded fucking card. We got a lot of good shit happening on that show. We got Justin Carino. He's taking on Ray Calitri. We also got the Tri-State champion Michael Mars. He's defending the championship against Hale Collins of the Now. Crowbar's taking on Encore Moore, who is fantastic at what he does. We also got Enzo, a.k.a. Real One. He's fighting Rick Recon, which should be a great match. And then in the main event, it's a mixed tag team match for the championship. It is Bull James and Tina San Antonio. Bull James is the world champion, taking on Alpha Jr. and Vicious Vicky. Vicious Vicky is, of course, the women's champion. Winners take all mixed tag team match, which should be a great match from start to finish. And the show looks great. I look forward to it. I'm loving what ISPW is doing. We also got 80s WrestleCon coming up here in New Jersey. That's going to be in Morristown in the Menon Arena on May 6th. So get your tickets while you can. We are almost 10 minutes into the stream. If you haven't liked the video, if you haven't liked the stream, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Come on in, like it, and share it out on all platforms, social media, including Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever social media platforms that you may be using. It is extremely vital that you do. Please make sure you get as many people in here as possible, because they're going to want to be here when I unveil all of this information regarding Vince McMahon. And I know a lot of people have been waiting with bated breath. A lot of people have been waiting with bated breath to hear what I got to say. Trust me on that. Please make sure that you hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, whether it be on my channel or the Hardcore Sports channel. We're streaming live on Hardcore Sports YouTube right there, and Hardcore Sports Twitch right over there at Hardcore Sports 1. Also follow us on both Instagram and Twitter at Hardcore Sports Network for Instagram, and then Hardcore Sports N for Twitter. Like the stream, share it out, subscribe, and when you subscribe, hit the notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, oh, baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube. And I'm going to be saying baby a lot throughout this stream, and we are going to discuss why when we get to the Dynamite portion of the review. But why is it the best time to be on YouTube? When I'm on YouTube, because it's the only time that you're going to get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination and this beautiful mustache right here. Hologram, do you know what time it is? Oh, yeah, this magical ace comb. We are going to light it up here on the channel. Only the second LFU of the year, but we on fire. all day, every day, with a little mm-mm, and a dash of mm-mm, and a whole lot of because like grilled cheese, just like grilled cheese, the American, the Gouda, the mozzarella, all piled in between two nicely, freshly toasted pieces of buttered bread with a little tomato soup on the side. You just know I'm so good. Everybody wants a piece of the Stormsmeister. I mean, let me tell you something. If you are telling me that you don't want a piece of the Stormsmeister, I know that you're lying, and I know that you are not someone that I want to have in my life, and no one should have an individual in their life that does not want a piece of the Stormsmeister. Let me tell you. Anyway, getting a little ahead of myself. Why don't we get right into the news, rumors, and reports, shall we? My first report comes from WrestlingNews.co, and if it wasn't obvious before, it certainly is obvious now. As reported by WrestlingNews.co, WWE is considering a heel turn for Bobby Lashley and a potential Hurt Business reunion. This past Monday on Raw, we saw MVP talk with Bobby Lashley, and they're not exactly simpatico, but they did fist bump each other. He said, we're good, but not now regarding this reunion. We did see Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin reform as a tag team, and hopefully the Hurt Business will be reuniting sooner rather than later because the Hurt Business is fantastic. Can you imagine the matches with the Hurt Business that we could get on Monday Night Raw and on SmackDown too? The Bloodline, the Judgment Day, the OC, Brawling Brutes, Imperium. Lot of money to be made with the Hurt Business. And if anything, if the Hurt Business is going to reunite, I would love to see the Hurt Business versus the Judgment Day at WrestleMania. If they're not going to do Rey versus Dominic, I would love to see the Judgment Day versus the Hurt Business. That would be fantastic. So Bobby Lashley, he did return this past Monday, and it seems as though he's playing up as a babyface for now, but we could very well see a heel turn sooner rather than later. So keep our eyes out on that, and if we get a Hurt Business reunion, you have my complete and utter endorsement. I'll tell you who did not have the endorsement of a certain WWE superstar. Vince McMahon returned last week, and one superstar, according to Fightful Select, by the name of Bray Wyatt, a.k.a. Wyndham Rotunda, was not backstage at SmackDown last week, which is why they only showed a video package last week between Bray Wyatt, LA Knight, and whoever played Uncle Howdy 2 weeks ago. And then last week, LA Knight cut a little promo in the back. And that was pretty much the extent of the build towards the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. Bray Wyatt was not backstage last week at SmackDown, likely due to the return of Vince McMahon. And you know what? I can't say I blame him. It's ridiculous. Why would Bray Wyatt want to be backstage at SmackDown? Now, granted, Vince has reportedly not been backstage at any of these events since his return, but at the same point in time, this is Vince McMahon we're talking about, and whether he's there or whether he's not there in the flesh, he still is back as an executive chairman of the board. So at the end of the day, this man fired Bray Wyatt, completely castrated him, treated him like shit, and somehow weaseled his way back into power literally 3 months. 3 months after Bray Wyatt made his return. 3 months after Bray Wyatt made his return, Vince weaseled his way back in. So why would Bray Wyatt want to be there? Of course he wouldn't want to be there. Bray Wyatt is scared. I'm sure that there's a lot of people right now that are a little worried. I'm sure Hit Row is worried. I'm sure Karrion Kross is worried. I'm sure Tegan Knox is worried. Candice LeRae. I'm sure Mia Yim and Gallows and Anderson. I'm sure Bray Wyatt is worried. Every one of them should be worried. All of these individuals were unjustifiably fired by Vince McMahon. Why? Because all of them were directly correlated and associated with what Triple H did back down in NXT, and Vince McMahon hates his son-in-law. He wants to take everything out on his son-in-law, so he uses those individuals and fires them and ruins their livelihoods and careers as a sick and twisted game to get back at Triple H. It's pathetic. So I would be worried if I was Bray Wyatt too. I would be worried if I was Bray Wyatt too. And you know what? It sucks because Bray Wyatt is really starting to find his groove. He's going to fight LA Knight. Should be a decent match. I hope they don't do the same fucking shit that they did with The Fiend. Maybe we get Bray Wyatt versus a bigger name going into WrestleMania. I would love to see Edge, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Edge and Bray Wyatt, the promo battles between the two would be fantastic. But at the end of the day, who knows? We may not even get that. Vince McMahon could very well be back in control by the time WrestleMania season is over. So I don't blame Bray Wyatt for not showing up. If he's fearful, he has every right to fear that. I'm not sure how likely this is, but this is out there. Since Vince McMahon came back, I'm not really sure how likely WWE is to go for this individual, but Fightful also reported that WWE has currently expressed interest in Tama Tonga. New Japan Pro Wrestling sources have claimed that Tama Tonga's New Japan Pro Wrestling contract is currently up in a matter of weeks. Now, I'm not really sure what's going on with Tama Tonga. I'm not really sure if he plans on signing a new contract, but I don't really know where he would fit in WWE. Maybe in the Bloodline. That's really the only place that I can see him fitting in. I don't know. Maybe Tama Tonga is sent to NXT. Maybe this is part of the process that Triple H has to rejuvenate the NXT brand. Because right now, the show that is NXT on Tuesday night is largely dog shit. It's largely a heaping pile of vomit. It's literally cat vomit. It sucks. Minus a few things here or there. There was one show that took place a couple weeks ago. I think it was the week of Christmas. That was actually a pretty decent NXT. We actually got some very good matches on that episode of NXT, but that's not a week-to-week thing. That's a once-in-a-blue-moon type of thing. Now, the shows, in terms of premium live events, the premium live events, for the most part, are fine. Deadline was a very good pay-per-view. Deadline was probably the best NXT production since NXT Stand and Deliver. That was a great show, NXT Stand and Deliver, and that was under the 2.0 era. This is post 2.0 era, and Deadline, that was a very good show from start to finish. We got Vengeance Day coming up, and for the most part, Vengeance Day looks okay. We got Grayson Waller, Braun Breaker in a steel cage match. It looks like they're giving us Wesley and Dijak for the North American Championship. We're going to get Gallus and the New Day for the NXT Tag Team titles, which should be a great tag team match. We're probably going to get Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark in a street fight because that's really the only match that embodies Vengeance Day, because that is a feud that is extended back quite a few weeks, and they've been building that up for quite some time. And Nikita Lyons, she hasn't gotten her revenge on Zoe Stark, so that could be a match that they could be putting on the show. For the most part, that show looks very good on paper, but the weekly TV still sucks. Dragon Lee has already signed with NXT, and apparently, keeping with the New Japan Pro Wrestling stars, according to PW Insider, Carl Fredericks, former New Japan Pro Wrestling star, has signed with the WWE, and he started in the PC this week. So you got Dragon Lee, you're bringing in Carl Fredericks. I'm not familiar with Carl Fredericks, so I'll have to wait and see what he's all about. But then you're expressing interest in Tama Tonga. If this is what they are planning to do with NXT, and they're really trying to make NXT into a mainstay, a true breeding ground for the big stars on the independent scene that are going to come over from New Japan, or that are going to come over from Evolve, or MLW, or any one of these independent promotions, AAA. If they're trying to rejuvenate NXT that way, I don't mind that. But outside of the Bloodline or NXT, I'm not really sure where Tama Tonga is going to fit, because he's got to build his reputation in NXT. So we'll see what happens there. But Carl Fredericks, according to PW Insider, signed with WWE. So him, Dragon Lee, and they're looking at Tama Tonga. They're trying to revamp and rejuvenate NXT. And 2023, I'd like to hope, will really be a true rejuvenation period for the NXT brand. Because the end of 2022, it was largely the same. a couple of decent matches and decent shows here and there, but it was largely bullshit. It was largely the same NXT bullshit that we saw under Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard until Vince retired back in July. So we'll see what happens there. Fightful. They reported plans for Edge in the beginning of 2023. Edge, of course, has been out since Extreme Rules, where he lost an I Quit match to Finn Balor, and Rhea Ripley ended up giving his wife, Beth Phoenix, a concerto right in front of him, which was fantastic, by the way. I was grinning from ear to ear because the Judgment Day were booked like absolute monsters. Loved it. So the reported plans for Edge in the beginning of 2023 are as follows. He is currently penciled in for the first couple of premium live events for the year, that being Rumble, The Chamber, and WrestleMania. The reported plan of Edge versus Finn Balor at the Royal Rumble inside Hell in a Cell will go on as planned, but it is also being reported that Edge will team with his wife, Beth Phoenix, to take on Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley at the Elimination Chamber, which is in Edge's home country of Canada. Now, first off, I don't have an issue with the mixed tag team match taking place. I'm not really sure if anyone would really have an issue with the mixed tag team match taking place. It makes sense. It makes sense to have the mixed tag team match, or at least have something that involves Beth Phoenix and Rhea Ripley, considering that Rhea Ripley did put Beth Phoenix out of commission. But the one issue that I have is you have a Hell in a Cell match booked for the Rumble, and then 3 weeks later you're going to do a mixed tag team match between Edge, Finn Balor, Rhea Ripley, and Beth Phoenix. It doesn't really make much sense at all. If anything, the matches should be reversed. If anything, it should be Edge and Beth Phoenix taking on Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley at the Rumble, and then Edge and Balor can fight in a Hell in a Cell match at the Elimination Chamber. That makes sense. That would be much better in terms of fluidity and storyline continuation. I don't really understand how you're going to have a Hell in a Cell match, but a mixed tag team match is going to be the end-all, be-all. Now, it's going to be in Edge's hometown, and the crowd is going to be great. The action should be great, and Rhea Ripley and Beth Phoenix, that's a very intriguing matchup. But at the end of the day, a Hell in a Cell should end the feud. That should end the feud. So I don't really understand why Edge and Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor and Beth Phoenix, they would be penciled in to work the Elimination Chamber after Edge versus Balor inside Hell in a Cell. Is Balor going to beat Edge? Is Balor going to beat Edge inside Hell in a Cell, and then Edge is going to get his ultimate revenge in a mixed tag team match? It doesn't really add up. No matter who wins the Hell in a Cell match, that realistically should be the end of the feud. I don't want to completely shit on it, but it's like they're doing things completely backwards. They're doing things completely backwards. It should be the mixed tag team match taking place at the Rumble, considering that is the bigger event, and that would kind of make a little bit more sense. And then the Hell in a Cell match, that takes place in Edge's hometown, in Edge's home country of Canada. That would make more sense because the crowd reaction would be even better if it was a Hell in a Cell match, and Edge gets the ultimate victory after a war inside Hell in a Cell. I don't understand why they're doing the mixed tag team match or reportedly doing it at the Chamber. It doesn't make sense, and it feels completely unnecessary. It feels unnecessary after a Hell in a Cell match. We'll wait and see what happens, but I don't necessarily have an issue with the match itself. I have an issue with the fact that it's taking place after a reported Hell in a Cell match. Makes no sense. Back to the New Japan Pro Wrestling news. Fightful Select has learned that Jay White's contract is set to expire, and he could be headed to America very, very soon. WWE and AEW are said to be very interested in him. Now, if we're talking about the WWE, this goes hand in hand with Triple H's plan for NXT. because Jay White's not going to show up in the Rumble. They would be foolish to debut Jay White in the Royal Rumble and have Jay White on the main roster right out of the gate. AJ Styles is a once-in-a-lifetime type of deal. AJ Styles is completely fucking different. Once-in-a-lifetime type of deal. Makes absolutely no sense for AJ Styles to go down to NXT. People already knew who AJ Styles was, not just from New Japan, but he was also in Impact. And Impact back then was actually pretty hot before they obviously tried to go to a Monday Night War with WWE back in 2010, which was terrible. But people knew who AJ Styles was from Impact. Impact right now is a dead brand. Jay White has appeared on Impact before, but Impact right now is a dead brand. Then you got New Japan Pro Wrestling. Not too many people are really familiar with New Japan Pro Wrestling, especially not the fucking idiots that sit in the arenas to watch WWE. WWE fans are fucking retards. They are. They're fucking brain-dead zombies. They sit on their hands and knees and they do nothing for these events. They're silent. It's like they're wrestling. It's like the wrestlers, it's like they're fighting in front of corpses. It's stupid. Jay White, if he's going to go to WWE, I can only see him going to NXT. That's where he's going to build his reputation, and then he gets called up to the main roster. He's only 30 years old, so he's got nothing but time ahead of him. But at the same point in time, I can't see that. I can't see that only because of the fact that with Vince McMahon in charge, you can imagine with Jay White watching the last few weeks. His contract is set to expire in what? A month? You can imagine that Jay White, if he's coming to America, he's keeping a close eye on what WWE is doing. With Dragon Lee signing, with Carl Fredericks signing, with Tama Tonga potentially signing, you could imagine that Jay White is going to be watching what's going on with WWE very, very closely because of what's going on with Vince and Stephanie leaving, and we don't even know if Triple H is going to have a job by this time this stream is over. So you can imagine Jay White's keeping a close eye on that. AEW side of things, that would work out very well. Now, if Jay White's going to go to AEW, I'm not really sure where you slot him in, but there's a lot of different scenarios you can slot him in. Jay White is a very versatile individual. You could possibly have Jay White go up against the Elite. Maybe Jay White brings in something from New Japan. Maybe we see Jay White bring in some members of the Bullet Club from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Maybe we see Jay White bring in members of the Bullet Club from New Japan Pro Wrestling to fight the Elite for the Trios Championships. Maybe we see Jay White going after Orange Cassidy and the All-Atlantic Championship. We could see Jay White go after Darby Allin and the TNT Championship. We could see Jay White go to Ring of Honor. Maybe for Supercard of Honor, who the fuck knows? Maybe we'll see Claudio and Jay White in the main event for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Maybe he goes and fights Samoa Joe for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. Though I don't think that's the case. I think that's going to be Wardlow. Maybe he fights Wheeler Yuta for the Pure Championship. Jay White is very versatile. With Jay White, there's a lot more opportunities in AEW than WWE, considering what's going on and how the landscape of WWE right now is just very uncertain. So I could actually see Jay White leaning more towards the AEW side, especially since he's been there before and his friends are there. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But I would personally love to see Jay White on Ring of Honor. I would love to see Jay White versus Claudio. I'd love to see Jay White in Bullet Club versus the Elite. I'd love to see Jay White versus a Darby Allin. That'd be great. Maybe Jay White comes in. Maybe he feuds with Adam Page. Maybe we get that match one-on-one. We haven't gotten that match one-on-one. Not to my memory, at least. Maybe we get Adam Page and Jay White. That would be a very interesting match for one of these. Maybe that's a Forbidden Door match. Maybe we get that at Forbidden Door. Who knows? All right, here's the big one. Vince McMahon. Everyone has been trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with Vince McMahon, and I have the exclusive. It's been leaked out already. Vince McMahon's original return plans have been revealed. I have a lot to discuss, so we're going to go piece by piece. We're going to have a dissection of every single report, one by one. We're going to break this down. Not like DX, but we're going to break it down. Dave Meltzer. I'm going to start off with him. No matter what you think of Dave Meltzer is rather credible at times. Dave Meltzer provided an update on Vince McMahon's original plan when he returned to the company. It stated that he indeed intended to return to creative power. Meltzer said, and I quote, "I think everybody kind of is looking at this like that really what's going to happen and being very skeptical of that in the long run because Vince wanted it back to run the thing. I mean, that's what he wanted. That's what he was looking for a week ago. So he didn't get that." End quote. In addition to this, to add on top of this, Ringside News spoke to a tenured member of the WWE executive team, someone from management that is a tenured source of theirs within the WWE. They spoke to them about Vince McMahon and his return, and the source stated anonymously, and I quote, "I don't know of many people who see this as a positive. It is also worth noting that within the chain of emails that the board had with Vince McMahon before Vince inevitably returned back to the company, it was stated that the board emphasized that they were not fond of Vince returning to the company, and they feel it would have been a bad move in more ways than one, because they knew of things that have not reached the public eye yet. Vince McMahon basically called them bullshit artists. They said, "Oh no, you don't got any more dirt on me." And he threatened to halt any advancements of media rights deals until they reinstated him into the company and the board once again. So basically, to put this into retrospect and to put this into the most simple perspective possible, Vince McMahon threw a tantrum like a little kid in a Toys R Us who did not get the Power Ranger toy that he wanted. He did not get the Lego playset that he wanted. So Vince McMahon is the kid that's going to say, Mommy, I'm going to hold my breath until you give me the Lego set that I want." And that's exactly what happened. The board, in this case, is the mother, and Vince McMahon is the snotty, bratty 6-year-old. And Vince McMahon got what he wanted. He basically threatened to hostilely take over the company because he owns 80% of the stock. He owns the majority of the stock. It's a publicly traded company, and he would not advance anything. He would not sign off or approve on any media rights deals, none of them, unless they reinstated him back into the company. He got reinstated back into the company, and last week I talked about how 3 board members were fired. He brought in George Barrios and Michelle Wilson, who are, for lack of a better terms, part of Vince McMahon's cocksucking posse, and then he fired, because they didn't resign, he fired Ignis Lahoud and Manjit Singh, who was one of the top individuals that led the investigation of Vince McMahon when all of this shit came to light in the spring and summer of 2022. We're going to stop there. I want you guys to think about this. I'm going to ask everyone a question. And I know for a fact there's going to be people watching me that believe that Vince McMahon was never back to retake all the power that he lost. After After reading to you all of that, the fact that he threatened to halt any media rights deals advancements and he wouldn't sign off on anything unless they reinstated him back into the company, as if Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, and Nick Khan couldn't handle it. Threatened to hold the company hostage. He wanted to take creative power back. He was ousted by an anonymous source stating that they don't know how anyone sees this as a positive, and he fired one of the board members that was the lead board member in his investigation throughout all the scandals that were coming out throughout the course of the middle of 2022. I want to ask you, and I want you to think about this before you answer. After all of that I just read to you, and we're not done by a long shot, does that sound like a man that has the best interests of the company in mind? Never mind the best interests. Does that sound like a man that merely wants to return to the company to sell it? And if you're going to tell me, yes, you are the most retarded individual in the wrestling community right now. You just need to quit while you're ahead. You should not be talking about wrestling, and you need to get the fuck out immediately. You need to take your silly ass to the door and walk right out. I do not want to hear anybody tell me that Vince McMahon is merely back just to sell the company. Bullshit. Everything that I just read to you, and we're not done. Everything I just read to you screams hostile takeover. It screams vengeance. It screams that Vince McMahon, he is out to chop the heads off of everyone that wronged him and mount them on his wall. You think Vince McMahon willingly stepped down? Fuck no. Vince McMahon was forced to step down. He did not give up his power willingly. He didn't. Vince McMahon was forced out of power. And on July 23rd, he retired on July 22nd. On July 23rd, I said it last week, it was an elaborate plan. As soon as he retired, he sat down with Jerry McDevitt and he organized a takeover. He organized everything. He read through so many legal documents and talked things over with Jerry McDevitt in order to loophole his way back into the company, specifically because he wants to run it again. You don't think that he was sitting at home, pissed off that he did not get away with this? You don't think he was sitting at home, pissed off beyond belief that he did not get away with the scandals and the bullshit that he did over the course of how many years? You don't think that he was pissed that someone was able to remove him from power, at least for 5.5 to 6 months? That was a loss to him. Vince McMahon, he cannot accept defeat. There's multiple things that fuels Vince McMahon's fire. It's his ego. It's his selfishness. And it's his narcissism, to which he actually believes that he is the Lord Almighty Savior, God himself. Vince McMahon is not a normal human being. Vince McMahon is legitimately the reincarnation. He's the Omen. Vince McMahon is legitimately the son of Satan. He is the son of Satan, the Omen, walking among us. Everyone always says, there's so many people that ask, oh, Jesus Christ is the Son of God. Where's the Antichrist? He's walking among us. His name is Vincent Kennedy McMahon. All of this was a long orchestrated plan from the jump. To add on top of this, 3 days after Vince returned, lawyers of a group of shareholders, they organized a lawsuit, and they filed a class action lawsuit against Vince McMahon. Scott Fellows was the main shareholder, and he filed the lawsuit. The following updated email that Scott Fellows received from the lawyers today reads, and I quote, this is from Scott Fellows' lawyers. I hope you had a great holiday season. I'm writing with an update on WWE. We have been working with the company for several months and have received several internal documents, which we have been reviewing. We expect to get an additional batch of documents this week. You also may have seen the news this past week about Vince McMahon forcing his way back onto the board, along with a major board shakeup. As a result, we believe there is enough of a basis to bring a breach of fiduciary lawsuit. Breach of a fiduciary lawsuit. I'm terrible with fucking English. This is why I'm a fucking accounting major, not an English major. But regardless, bring a breach of a fiduciary lawsuit. We hope to file a complaint against McMahon and possibly other directors / officers for breaching their duties to WWE and its shareholders. We should have a draft for you to review in the next couple of days. It will also require a signature on a 1-page verification, which we will also send. In the meantime, do you have a phone number we could use in case we need to contact you that way? Please let me know if you have any questions about anything. End quote. That was the email, the letter that Scott Fellows, WWE shareholder, received from his lawyers, and the class action lawsuit was filed this week towards Vince McMahon for breaching fiduciary duties and pretty much threatening to hold the company hostage, bullying his way back into the board, and pretty much revamping everything, shaking up the board and trying to cover his tracks. This lawsuit was filed against Vince McMahon, and you know what? Good. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. Guy's a piece of shit. Guy's a piece of shit. The guy is an evil, evil son of a bitch. They know of more things that are going to come out on Vince McMahon. My one hope is that Vince McMahon has more dirt that comes out on him and more lawsuits are filed. The more dirt and the more lawsuits that are filed, the better. Because then Vince McMahon will be put in an even tougher position. But Vince McMahon, he don't give a shit. He don't give a shit about anything. The only thing he gives a shit about is feeding his own ego. Vince is a vindictive old man. Vince McMahon is a vindictive piece of garbage. You don't think that with everything that Vince McMahon has done over the course of the last couple years, you don't think that he has pretty much created this facade in his own mind that he is legitimately invincible? After everything that's gone on, Vince don't care about this fucking lawsuit. Vince don't care about the allegations. Vince don't care about a lawsuit. Vince McMahon, and let me tell you something. The more I read this shit, I'd like to have some hope, but after everything that we've seen Vince McMahon get away with, the fear of him taking over creative control, it is 1,000% justified. Everyone keeps on brushing it off. People, you are living in a fucking fantasy bubble, and you need to get out of that realm sooner rather than later. This shit is not a fucking game. This is not a fucking joke, and it is a very real possibility that Vince McMahon can get back into creative power. Matter of fact, I would not be surprised if he does get away with this. Have you paid attention to what this man has done? Have you paid attention to everything that has happened over the course of the last, how many years? 50 years? Vince McMahon has gone through the steroid trials, the Jimmy Snuka debacle, the Owen Hart situation, the Chris Benoit incident. Vince McMahon distributed steroids with Dr. Zahorian back during the early 90s. He distributed steroids and he was investigated by the government and he got away with it. This man paid off the cops to let Jimmy Snuka go, a crackhead who murdered his girlfriend. He got away with it. This man was negligent towards the physical and the mental well-being of Owen Hart and Chris Benoit. This man was negligent of the equipment that was used at Over the Edge 1998. Owen Hart fell from the rafters, died, and they continued on with the show. He should have been in jail for negligence. He got away with it. Chris Benoit, all of the negligence, the chair shots to the head, the steroid usage, just constantly brushing things off, brushing off Chris Benoit's physical and mental health, brushing it off like nothing. Look at what Chris Benoit did. Look at what he did. Vince brushed everything off. He didn't give a single shit about Chris Benoit. He should have been in jail. He should have been in jail for not doing something and checking on the physical and the mental well-being of Chris Benoit, and Vince got away with it. And with every passing scenario that he got away with something that he should have been in jail for, his ego got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. His ego is the size of Jupiter. His ego is the size of fucking Jupiter. You don't think that Vince McMahon has gone through virtually his entire life with this facade that he is going to look to get past anything? He's cheated life. Vince McMahon has cheated his way through life, and he's gotten away with everything. If you don't think that he plans on getting away with this, and there's a good chance that he could get away with this, you are sorely mistaken. Again, I will state, love him, hate him, Jerry McDevitt is the greatest lawyer on the face of the planet. Vince is virtually untouchable. And don't even get me started. Look at what happened. Look at what happened legitimately 3 days ago. Look what happened 3 days ago. Wednesday before Dynamite. Stephanie McMahon, well, technically Tuesday. It came out, she did it on Tuesday, and the bombshell just really took over on Wednesday. Stephanie came out on Tuesday evening with another fucking bombshell. She is officially resigned from WWE as the co-chairwoman. She put out a statement which reads, and I quote, "Dear WWE Universe, about 8 months ago, I took a leave of absence and within a few weeks, unexpectedly had the opportunity of a lifetime. I had the privilege to return as the co-CEO and chairwoman of the board of WWE. I cannot put into words how proud I am to have led what I consider to be the greatest company in the world, working alongside a remarkable leadership team and one of the strongest executives I have known in my co-CEO, Nick Khan. Our founder, Vince McMahon, has returned as executive chair and is leading an exciting process regarding strategic alternatives. And with Nick's leadership and Paul Triple H Levesque as chief content officer, I am confident WWE is in the perfect place to continue to provide unparalleled creative content and drive maximum value for shareholders. WWE is in such a strong position that I have decided to return to my leave and take it one step further with my official resignation. I look forward to cheering on WWE from the other side of the business where I started when I was a little kid as a pure fan. I will always remain dedicated to WWE. I truly love our company, our employees, our superstars, and our fans. And I am grateful to all of our partners. Thank you for everything. Then, now, forever, together, Steph. Here's the one thing that sticks out to me. She said that WWE is in such a strong position and she's confident in her team and everything, and an exciting process regarding alternatives. And she was very positive throughout the entire statement. If she was so positive about the entire statement, why exactly is she resigning? Why exactly is she resigning? Something did come out, actually, that Tuesday as well. Something did come out that Tuesday as well. On Tuesday evening, legitimately during NXT, the entire IWC was being burnt to the ground. Multiple sources reported that WWE had reportedly sold to the Saudi Arabian investment fund, including Cassidy Haynes of BodySlam.net, Raj Giri, Steve Muehlhausen as well. He reported that the company will be going private again. Unknown if Vince will return to head of creative, but is expected by some people. He deleted the tweet. The following morning, Ariel Helwani, he kind of shut down those rumors. A lot of tweets were deleted. He shut down those reports. He tweeted out on early Wednesday morning, and I quote, "Contrary to reports stating otherwise last night, there is no deal in place at this precise moment for WWE to be sold to Saudi Arabia's public investment fund or any entity," sources say. "The organization is still exploring all options, I'm told, developing," end quote. Now, did I believe that WWE was being sold to Saudi Arabia? I'm not saying that I believed that the sale was conducted that fast. I did not believe that the sale was signed, sealed, delivered, and finalized that quickly. Why? It's impossible. You're telling me Vince returned on Friday, January 6th, 2023, and the company was already sold on Tuesday, January 10th, 2023? That's impossible. A deal like this, a sale like this with a company like WWE, for how many billions they're going to sell it for, shit like that is going to take time. Shit like that would not be signed, sealed, and delivered, finalized for at least a month or two. There's no way, no fucking way that a deal that big would have been signed, sealed, and delivered legitimately within days. It's impossible. However, regardless of the fact that the deal with Saudi Arabia has not been finalized, regardless of the fact that it has not been confirmed, regardless of the fact that it is not legit yet, that does not mean the possibility is off the table. That does not mean the possibility is off the table whatsoever. You know what I believe? I do believe that there is truth to WWE being sold to Saudi Arabia. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, WWE has eyes and ears everywhere. They watch a lot of content creators and reporters in the IWC. There are people watching me right now. You are not going to convince me that there are not people from WWE that are watching me right now. People from WWE, and I'm talking about top-tier executives and management team. They watch me, they listen to Meltzer, they listen to Alvarez, they listen to Sean Ross Sapp, they listen to Ringside News. They listen to everyone. They listen to Solomonster, they listen to fucking Wrestling Inc. and Raj Giri. They listen to everyone. All the top-tier major sources. I'm nobody. I'm just a kid from Jersey that screams about wrestling into a blue snowball microphone every Saturday. But they are listening. They're listening to me. They see and they hear everything that is going on in the IWC. And you know what I do believe happened? I do believe that WWE leaked a false report to the dirt sheets. WWE leaked a false report to the dirt sheets on Tuesday regarding the company being sold to Saudi Arabia for two reasons. Number one, they wanted to see the public reaction to it. They wanted to see the public reaction to it because the deal is on the table and the deal is probably in discussion right now. They're in discussion with multiple companies, multiple big corporations, and I know for a fact that Saudi Arabia is one of them. They put out a false report that the deal had been finalized to see what the public reaction was going to be, as if they didn't know what the fucking public reaction was going to be. They didn't think it was going to be anything but negative. Of course it was going to be negative. But they're a bunch of fucking retards. They put that out there as a public reaction test. Number one. And number two, WWE, whether you want to admit it or not, WWE loves to troll the fans. It's a sick game to them, specifically Vince McMahon's camp. This had Vince McMahon's camp written all over it. Vince McMahon and his camp, they love to fuck with the fans' emotions. They love to troll the fans and get under their skin. It is a sick and twisted game to them. You don't believe me? You don't believe me? Look at their history. Look at their history. This is the same company that jobbed out AJ Lee to Nikki Bella for the Divas Championship within 30 seconds. This is the same company that had Shinsuke Nakamura lose to Jinder Mahal twice. Twice. He lost to Jinder Mahal twice. Trolled the fans. Trolled the fans. This is the same company that had Roman Reigns fight for the Universal Championship at the Royal Rumble 2017. And then legitimately, hours later, he entered the Rumble at number 30 and eliminated The Undertaker. Trolled the fans. This company loves to piss off its fan base. Vince hates the fans. Vince sees us as nothing more than money-giving gremlins. He sees us as nothing more than props, dollar signs. WWE deliberately leaked a false report to test the waters for a public reaction, and they deliberately did it to fuck around with the fans as a sick prank, an early April Fool's joke, even though there is some truth to it. And you are not going to convince me otherwise. You're not going to convince me otherwise. Then, WWE also, get this, WWE also sent out a press release revealing the board unanimously elected Vince McMahon back as executive chairman. But they didn't want him back not that long ago. But all the board members that didn't want him back, they're gone now. They're gone. It is ridiculous. It's a joke. It is a legitimate fucking joke. All of it. All of this is a legitimate fucking joke. Back to Stephanie McMahon. Why did she get out? Two reasons. One, there is some truth to the Saudi Arabian sale rumor. It's not been finalized, but they deliberately put it out there as a test because something's coming. Something is coming. The Saudi Arabian deal could very well be legit. It's just not confirmed, signed, sealed, and delivered yet. Stephanie would not approve of that. Or two, she knows that shit is about to hit the fan. She knows that shit is about to hit the fan, and she knows that more allegations are coming out and more lawsuits are going to be filed. Things are going to get ugly, and they're going to get ugly really, really, really fast. I am telling you right now, Stephanie McMahon knows. She knows what is coming. Stephanie McMahon said to herself, I know of all of this shit that my father did, and I know that there's going to be lawsuits that are going to be coming, and a lot of heads are going to be rolling. So you know what? I am getting the fuck out of here because I do not want my name attached to any of this. Stephanie doesn't even want to acknowledge the fact that Vince McMahon is her father. You know what this is equivalent to? This is equivalent to Stephanie McMahon laying on a beach and she got a report from a good source. She got a report from all these credible sources that a tsunami is about to hit. A tsunami is about to hit. So you know what? She packed up her things and she walked right off that beach and got to a safe place, leaving everyone else to drown. That's exactly what she did. She held a talent meeting. She held a talent meeting saying that nothing's going to change. Meanwhile, she resigned. Triple H held a talent meeting last night. Triple H held a talent meeting last night saying that everything's going to be fine. It is nothing, they're doing nothing but blowing smoke up their ass. Triple H and everyone a part of Triple H's camp, they are doing nothing with the talent but blowing smoke up their asses just to try and calm everyone down, even though they know that the tsunami known as Vince McMahon is going to come in and wipe you all out. They're all going to get wiped out. You don't think that Vince McMahon has a motive to return to creative power? You need to wake the fuck up. He will do it illegally or legally. Why? Because he doesn't care. He is an egomaniac. He cannot sit down. He cannot let things be. He will not go quietly into the night. His ego is too fragile. His ego is too big. He will not stop. He will not stop until he has achieved everything. And he will not stop until that man does not have a heartbeat anymore. He will never stop. He will not stop until he's dead or he's in a fucking mental institution with a straitjacket like Hannibal Lecter. That's where he belongs. And if you don't think that Vince McMahon has a motive with the sell of the company as well, if he can't gain creative control, he's going to sell the company anyway. And they could very well go back to private and he could be in creative control. Although some of the corporations, some of the buyers want to keep Triple H. Some of the buyers don't want anything to do with Vince McMahon. I guarantee you those are the buyers that Vince is going to avoid. And everything's probably going to go right back to Saudi Arabia anyway. Saudi Arabia is fucking stupid rich. They got legitimately, they may be the richest country in the world. They may be the richest country in the world. I don't know what the fuck's going on with Saudi Arabia, but holy fuck, how many billions and trillions do they have? How many fucking billions and trillions do they have? If someone was to pitch an offer, let's say Disney pitches an offer. Nick Khan reportedly met with the CEO of Disney this week. Let's say Disney puts out an offer of $15 billion. Saudi Arabia could triple that. And how is Vince going to say no to $45 billion? Saudi Arabia won't care about any allegations. They want what they want. They want what they want. And even if Vince doesn't get creative power, this is a strategic sale of the company. This is a strategic sale of the company. If he can't get power before selling the company, then he'll gain power after he sells the company. And even if he doesn't, he's going to find a way to get Triple H out of his chief content officer role. He will find a way to get him out. Why? Because Vince McMahon hates his son-in-law. Vincent Kennedy McMahon hates Paul Levesque. If Paul Levesque, God forbid, were to pass away tomorrow, Vince McMahon would go to the cemetery, unzip his pants, and piss on his grave. Vince hates Triple H. Why? Because Triple H did something that you never do to Vince McMahon, because I'm the almighty Vince. I am God. Triple H embarrassed Vince McMahon. Triple H upstaged Vince McMahon. Triple H was doing Vince McMahon better than Vince McMahon. Triple H was running a wrestling show better than him, right underneath his own nose for years, well before NXT went up to face AEW, well before. Triple H was running the best wrestling promotion and the best wrestling show with the best wrestling storylines since the fucking Attitude Era, right under Vince McMahon's nose. And every week with NXT Black and Gold for 1 hour of NXT trumped 5 hours of Raw and SmackDown combined on a weekly basis. All of those takeovers, all of those takeover specials, all of them were better than any main roster pay-per-view productions that they put on throughout the year. All of them. Every single fucking one of them. You don't think Vince saw that? You don't think that Vince McMahon is vindictive? You don't think that Vince McMahon is pissed off at Triple H for doing that? Of course he is. Vince McMahon hates Triple H. And if Triple H wasn't married to his daughter, Triple H would have been gone. Triple H probably would have never gotten into an executive role. And Triple H probably would be working for Tony Khan right now. That's what it is. If you don't believe it, I don't know what to tell you. If you don't believe it, you need to fucking smarten up. You need to smarten up. Everything regarding Vince McMahon is strategic. Everything regarding Vince McMahon is plotted and planned out. And he has every intention to return to creative power. And I would not be shocked if this man is once again running WWE by the time WrestleMania is over. Would not be surprised. He's already sending out emails to departments saying what they're doing wrong and what they could be doing better. They're doing nothing wrong. They're doing nothing wrong. They're just not running it how he would run it. And he's got to insert his flavor into everything. Messing up everything is Vince McMahon. That man needs to be taken away. That man needs to be taken away in ball and chains and put in solitude for the rest of his miserable life. He's Old Yeller. Someone needs to put him out of his misery. I am not looking forward to anything regarding Vince McMahon or WWE going in the future. And yes, Tony Khan and his father, Shad, yes, I know, they're on the market to buy WWE too. They're not going to do that. No matter how many billions that WWE offers, or Tony Khan, no matter how many billions that Tony Khan offers to Vince McMahon, Vince would never do that. Vince would never do that. Vince wouldn't do that because that it would be legitimately equivalent if Vince owned WCW back in the day and Eric Bischoff bought WWE. Or Eric Bischoff bought WCW. Let's say Eric Bischoff was the one that won the Monday Night Wars and WWE, they went out of business. Would Vince McMahon have sold to Eric Bischoff? Probably not, because of his own ego. Vince McMahon would not allow WWE and AEW to exist under one roof. They wouldn't. Vince McMahon has too big of an ego to do that. And even so, Saudi Arabia is always looming in the shadows to 1 up, 2 up, 3 up, 4 up, 5 up, increase the offer by 6 times to buy the WWE from Vince McMahon. This is a very, very dark time. This is a very, very, very dark time, and I'm really not looking forward to what 2023 has to offer in terms of WWE. I'm fearful. If you're not fearful, you need to get with the fucking program. Those are your news, rumors, and reports. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed my huge rant and my back and forth regarding Vince McMahon and everything going on there. We are going to get into the weekly show reviews. WWE TV this week was not very good, minus a few things here and there. But for the most part, WWE was not very good. We are going to see what happens going forward. But I am fearing and I am expecting the worst. We are going to get into the Monday Night Raw review now. Thank you to Earl Cole and Shooter for joining. You guys are fantastic. And yes, Earl, there will be a Wrestling Experience next Thursday, 7:30 p.m., and we are going to fucking burn the house down. Raw. I really don't know what it is. But Raw is just lifeless. Raw really is it's not as bad as what Vince McMahon was delivering us. It's not as bad as what Vince McMahon was delivering us, but I mean, holy fuck. Holy fuck. There's legitimately no energy. The WWE fans make it worse. The WWE fans legitimately make it worse. There's no energy whatsoever, and everything just feels so lukewarm. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. And I know it has to do with the brand split. It's the brand split. It's the fact that there's no world champion on the show. Shit cannot operate like, I'm telling you, we need someone from WWE. Someone from WWE needs to grow a pair of fucking testicles, and they need to go to the networks. They need to go to Fox. They need to go to NBC. They need to go to USA. They need to say, you two, you fuckers, need to stay out of the creative process. We're going to end the brand split. We're going to have one world champion. Everyone's going to appear on both shows, and you're going to sit there and you're going to like it. You want the best ratings. You want the best interest in the product. You want the best possible television product. You let us do what we need to do, and you stay out. The brand split needs to end, and we need to get back to a joint roster sooner rather than later. So Kevin Owens kicked off the show. He was going to talk about fighting Roman at the Rumble. All of a sudden, JBL came back. He came out, made his return after a couple weeks off, and he said, Alabama people are one generation from walking on all fours, but even they don't believe you can beat Roman. Well, let me introduce to you the only man in 3 years to have pinned Roman Reigns, the modern-day wrestling god, Baron Corbin. So Corbin came out. He called Owens a loser as Owens buried his head into the turnbuckle. He was ignoring them. JBL called him a goofy Canadian. Owens was then challenged to a match. KO accepted. So we get this match. It was a match, nothing of note. Pretty basic match between these two. Corbin caught a swanton bomb by Owens. He kicked out. Owens with a super kick. Corbin spiked Owens with a DDT. And then he delivered a deep six. Owens hit the stunner and won. And then afterwards, the Bloodline attacked Kevin Owens. 3-on-1 assault. Jay took a chair. Solo super kicked Owens over the barricade. Owens then took Mike Rome's shoe and hit Jey Uso with it. He then threw a chair at Jimmy, and then he hit Solo with the chair, and he stood tall as Adam Pearce came out to try and restore order. And that was pretty much that. So really nothing of note. Pretty much the same old that we've been getting every week with Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens is going to be the next in line. He's going to be the next in line for Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble, and he's not winning. Alexa Bliss came out. She stood on the table. She said, Bianca decided to hide because she is afraid of me. She's not afraid of you. Honey, no one's afraid of you. We just don't want you on television because you suck. She goes, I am the face of evil. I haven't felt this good in a really long time. I am in control, and I'm not afraid to use these hands to put more scars onto Bianca's face and take the Raw Women's title. All of a sudden, we got a promo package for Uncle Howdy, and he asked if she's really in charge. Uncle Howdy then came out. He laughed a bit, and the screen then faded into a commercial. I really don't know what you want me to tell you here. There was no substance, no originality. It's the same shit over and over again. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just because there's been too much of a drag and not enough action. I'm not sure if just because that Alexa Bliss is just fucking terrible. Maybe it's the fact that they're dragging this on too long. We need to see some reveals. You know what we need? We need the Wyatt Six to start forming. We need the Wyatt Six to start taking shape. Bray Wyatt is going to succeed, and Bray Wyatt is going to be in a great position when he has a faction behind him. That's what we need. We need the Wyatt Six to start forming. We need Uncle Howdy to be revealed. We need some more individuals to come on, and we need Vincent. We need Dutch. We need Bo Dallas. We need Eric Redbeard. We need the Wyatt Six to start forming right now, because this shit, it's getting repetitive, it's getting boring, and everything that's being done with Bray Wyatt recently, minus the promos with LA Knight, it's played out. It's played out. I want to see Bray Wyatt in the ring wrestling, winning matches. I want to see him in there with bigger names, and I want to see the Wyatt Six start forming now, and others, feeding off of Bray Wyatt. I want to see Vincent and Dutch in the tag team division feeding off of Bray Wyatt, fighting for the tag team titles. I want to see Bo Dallas in the midst, fighting for a U.S. title, feeding off of Bray Wyatt. I want Eric Redbeard in the midst, fighting for a mid-card title, feeding off of Bray Wyatt. I want Bray Wyatt in there, fighting for the world title, and every single one of them, are feeding off each other. I want Wyatt and Edge. I want a Wyatt and a Seth Rollins. I want a Wyatt and a Bobby Lashley in the Hurt Business. Wyatt Six in the Hurt Business. Perfect. So, after that, we get a match with Mia Yim and Bayley. Very blah match as well. I don't know what the fuck it was. So Bayley took the mic and she was calling out Becky. Not sure if she's just jealous of our bond. You're either here because you can't stand what we have, or you're not here because you're jealous that you lost to me. And then she sent Damage Control to the back, and she said to Becky, "Watch what I do to your friend." Mia Yim looked fine here for the most part, but Bayley ended the match pretty abruptly with a backslide. And that was pretty much it. Austin Theory came out, and he cut a very good promo. Austin Theory is doing some real good shit. So he said, the champ is here, and then all of a sudden, and all of you now have to accept the truth. The now is forever. Where's your guy? Where's Seth freaking Rollins? Said Austin Theory. I thought he was going to beat me. Crowd was chanting, "We want Rollins." Theory then said his old knee couldn't hold up. You know what happened? Rollins was outshined, and he was taken to school by Austin freaking Theory. Rollins' music then hit. He came out in crutches, and then he trolled everyone. He threw it away and started playing guitar on one of the crutches, which was great. So it's great to see that he is not seriously injured. He mocked Theory. Theory then reminded Rollins that he beat him. Rollins was being talked down to by Austin Theory, saying that he is the pinnacle of the entire damn industry, and he surpassed everything that Rollins has become, and he's on to bigger and better things, like winning the 2023 Royal Rumble and headlining WrestleMania, walking out the new undisputed WWE Universal Champion. Rollins then said, "Are you done?" The truth is, my knee is not 100%, but it will be just in time for me to win the Royal Rumble and just in time for Seth freaking Rollins to main event WrestleMania. Fine folks of Birmingham, Alabama, sing my song. So it is great to hear that Seth Rollins is not seriously injured and he will be back by the Rumble. Thank God. Thank God. So he called Austin Theory a kid, and he said he'll see him at the Rumble. All of a sudden, Bobby Lashley made his return. Lashley came in, and he speared Austin Theory. He then tossed Theory out, and he said, "I'm back. My suspension is over, and I can't wait to manhandle every superstar in the Rumble." Good to see Lashley back. Theory right now may be one of the best things about Monday Night Raw. Theory's fantastic. Theory is doing fantastic fucking work, and I am very, very, very impressed with what Austin Theory has been doing. Great stuff. Really great stuff from Austin Theory, and the more we see that, the better. The more we see that, the better. More shit like that. More Austin Theory on my TV, and more of Austin Theory just being a prick. I like when Austin Theory's a prick. Rhea Ripley, she pretty much buried Candice LeRae in about 4 minutes. I really don't understand why we are having 4-minute matches with talent that is full-time. Why is this match going 4 minutes? This should have gone no less than 11. You're not, I'm telling you right now, unless it's an enhancement match, there should be no one that is competing in a match on a weekly TV show that is less than 10 minutes. I do not want 4-minute matches are legitimately ruining modern day pro wrestling. These 4-minute matches between full-time talent, it does not make anyone look good. It doesn't make anyone look good. It's not engaging. There's not enough time for anyone to get invested in it. And ultimately, someone's going to have to take an L within 4 minutes. And anyone that takes an L within 4 minutes is not going to look good. Rhea Ripley looked good, which is fine, because Rhea Ripley is a beast and she should win the Women's Royal Rumble. But that doesn't mean that you need to throw her out there in a 4-minute match. Stupid. MVP and Bobby Lashley had a backstage segment. Lashley said, "We are good, but not now." Lashley didn't want anything to do with MVP. MVP said, "All right, fine. I get it. You want to go and handle your business. But whenever you want to expand that business, my number is the same." So they are planning on getting the Hurt Business back together. I have no issue with that. Give me the Hurt Business versus any one of the trios that I named at the beginning of the stream, and I have no issue with it. We had another fantastic promo package highlighting Cody Rhodes and his return. He talked about his Hell in a Cell match with Rollins and the pain that he went through, which was great. And it seems as though Cody is all but confirmed for the Royal Rumble. And I love that. Cody's return is not going to be a surprise. Solo Sikoa, he took on Dolph Ziggler. It's a pretty decent match right here. So Solo Sikoa and Dolph Ziggler, they meshed pretty well together. I could have watched them go a little longer. Solo tossed Dolph Ziggler out of the ring. Coming back from commercial, Solo with a hip attack and a very nice Samoan drop. He launched Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler then dodged a diving splash. He hit a jumping DDT. That got a 2 count. Zigzag connects, but Solo kicked out again. Solo reversed the Famouser. He had Dolph in a powerbomb position, and then he threw Dolph into the air and delivered a Samoan spike for the 1-2-3 victory. Let me tell you something. The Bloodline right now is the best faction in all of wrestling right now because of what Sami Zayn is doing. Sami Zayn is the #1 member in the Bloodline. But if I am going out there and I'm going to pick a #2 member of the Bloodline, I'm going with Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa, when Sami Zayn is gone, and Sami Zayn's not in the Bloodline anymore, which could happen any day now, Solo Sikoa is going to slip into that #1 spot. Roman Reigns may very well be the weakest member of his faction, and that's not his fault. Roman's great. It's just the fact that his character is very played out. He's gotten stale. He's run through everyone. Without Sami Zayn, the Bloodline would be flat as shit right now. Sami Zayn is the lifeblood of the Bloodline. But once Sami Zayn is gone, if you take out Sami Zayn, Solo Sikoa is #1 in the Bloodline outside of Sami Zayn. With Sami Zayn in there, Solo is a solid number 2. It goes Sami, Solo, Usos, Roman. Solo Sikoa, let me tell you something. He is not Umaga. There's never going to be another Umaga, but if there's one guy that is perfect to kind of carry on that lineage, Solo Sikoa is perfect for it. He's got the look, he's got the facial expressions, he's got the attitude, he's got the intensity, he's got the persona. Solo Sikoa is being booked perfectly. Solo Sikoa right now may be one of the best things on WWE TV, minus Gunther and Sami Zayn. Minus Gunther and what he's doing with the Intercontinental title, minus Sami Zayn, Solo Sikoa, he has really gotten himself into a solid role within the company. Solo Sikoa is great. What he's been doing as the enforcer of the bloodline, he's great. And I would not mind if they want to, after Sheamus inevitably takes the Intercontinental title from Gunther, I would not mind seeing Sheamus versus Solo Sikoa for the Intercontinental Championship. That would be a great match. I think Solo has taken to the main roster like a fish to water. Solo is being booked perfectly. He's being booked perfectly. We had a Miz TV segment with Dominic Mysterio. He came out with a bandana and sunglasses. He was looking like fucking Dennis from the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. Dominic said that you always roll with your crew inside prison and snitches get stitches. Imagine being locked up and it's either push or be pushed. When life comes at you with crazy changes, you gotta grab it by the balls. It's kind of like what Maurice does to you. Dominic then said he slapped his cellmate. Miz got snappy. Priest told him to shut up. Priest then promised that the Usos, that he promised the Usos that they are coming for the tag team titles. The OC came out and we begin tag team turmoil. So the OC, they were eliminated by the Judgment Day pretty quickly. Afterwards, in came the Hurt Business. Benjamin and Cedric actually had a decent showing here. Balor tried to save Damian Priest after Cedric hit a rising knee. Cedric hit a neuralizer on Priest for a 2. Priest then tagged in Balor. South of Heaven on Cedric. Coup de grace, and the Judgment Day advance again. Out comes the Alpha Academy. Otis has been getting a lot of crowd support as of lately, so good for Otis. Otis came in. He lit up everyone. He delivered a caterpillar, and the crowd was all hyped up. You know something? If they want to turn the Alpha Academy into baby faces, I would not mind. I think that babyface or heel, Chad Gable and Otis could work wonders. And if the crowd's really getting behind Otis, and the crowd is really starting to take to Otis, I think that this would be a great time to potentially turn the Alpha Academy babyface and potentially put him against the Usos. That would be great. So Otis with the world's strongest slam on Balor. Otis accidentally splashed Gable because Balor held Gable down. Balor got crushed. Priest with a rebound lariat, and he won. Otis's splash may have crushed Balor's ribs. Obviously, I thought that Balor legit had his ribs crushed, but they were just selling it. It was just an angle. Dominic then took Finn Balor's place, and out came the Street Profits. So Priest pounced Ford over the table. Dawkins came in with a tope con hero. Ford finally got the tag to Dawkins. Street Profits with some double team action. Dominic stayed alive. Priest then tagged in, hit a leaping flatliner on Ford. Super kick on Dawkins and a lariat. Dawkins kicked out. Priest was taken out. Priest sent Dawkins into the timekeeper's area. Ford with a tope con hero on Priest. Beautiful 450 splash on Dominic. Priest saved it. Dominic with a roll-up feed on the ropes, and he won. The last 5 minutes of this match was pretty much all you needed. If you wanted to go out and rewatch this match, watch the last 5 minutes. This match was pretty much used as a means to get the Judgment Day a tag team title shot. I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm not sure why they're only defending the Raw tag team titles on Raw and then the SmackDown tag team titles on SmackDown. Why are we splitting up the titles? Why are we splitting up the title? It makes no sense. Why are we splitting up the championships? The championships should not be split up. The championships should stay as one. I'm sick and tired of the fucking networks getting involved. The championships need to stay as one, and we need one set of championships. One set of tag team titles, one world title. The only titles that can stay separate is the Raw and the SmackDown women's title. Similar to how AEW has the AEW women's and the TBS championship. That's fine. I don't know why we are splitting up the championships. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. The networks need to stay out of creative and the brand split needs to end. Period. That was Monday Night Raw. Not very good. Very lifeless. Very lifeless. Couple decent things here and there, but largely very lifeless. I am really, really disappointed at what we are getting here. I really am. I'm not really looking forward to what is to come. I think that the worst is yet to come. Hope you guys are having a good time. We got about 3 more shows to go over. AEW, on the other hand, AEW had yet another very good week. AEW has really hit their stride, and AEW is putting on some very, very good shows. We got Adam Page, Hangman Adam Page, and Jon Moxley kicking off Dynamite in the LA Forum. And, man, was this a fantastic match. This was a fantastic fucking match. So, both men got a big pop. We got a brawl right out of the gate. Page sold his head because of the concussion. Moxley took over with a superplex. Page came back with an exploder suplex. Moxley sent Page into the new barricade. It's more solid, they pointed out. Page then came back with a lariat. Moxley with a lariat. It was pretty much a lariat fest. Page kicked out of the lariat. Coming back from commercial, Page mounted a comeback with another lariat. Lariat and lariat and lariat and lariat. Back and forth forearms. Fall away slam by Page. Discus lariat. Page then with an Orihara moonsault. Moxley reversed the buckshot lariat into a Death Rider. Page kicked out. Moxley went for the Bulldog choke. Moxley continued to wear down Page. Moxley with a pile driver. Page kicked out at 1. Moxley smiled. Page then locked in a sleeper. Page reversed Moxley's sleeper into a Deadeye. Moxley then popped up into a curb stomp. Both men are down. Both men traded strikes. Headbutts by Moxley. Page with a headbutt. They slapped each other. A big lariat by Page. And what is that, the fucking 7th lariat? Page with a buckshot lariat. And Page gets the 1, 2, 3. Now, I had Moxley winning this, but I cannot shit on Adam Page getting the win after the match that we got. Especially considering the crowd reaction Page got and the fact that it was his return match. Adam Page beats Jon Moxley. Afterwards, Doc Sampson checked on Moxley. So I don't know about you, but I do believe we will get a 3rd match at Revolution, and we're going to get a Texas Death Match. I do think that we're going to get a Texas Death Match, and we're going to get Page and Moxley one-on-one, and we will inevitably see Page finally get the win, and I do believe Page is going to move on. Page is going to move on after this. I think Page is going to get the win in that Texas Death Match, and at Double or Nothing, we're going to get Page challenging MJF. We're going to get Page challenging MJF. And the reason why Double or Nothing seems like the ideal time is because if you guys remember, it was Double or Nothing 2019, almost 4 years ago, in the first ever AEW match. It was the Casino Battle Royale. The final 2 participants on the buy-in pre-show, the first ever AEW match, the final 2 participants or Hangman Page and MJF, and Page eliminated MJF to win that match. 4 years later, they are main eventing Double or Nothing for the World Championship. It's perfect long-term booking. Perfect. Perfect long-term storytelling. That's what I want to see. So we get the Texas Death Match with Page and Moxley at Revolution, and then we get Page and MJF at Double or Nothing. Seems like an ideal place for Adam Page. Tony Schiavone, he introduced the returning Adam Cole, baby. And my God, did I miss that theme song? Did I miss that man? And did I miss that catchphrase? Adam Cole, crowd was electric. Electric for Adam Cole. No one even knew he was showing up. So Cole took the mic and he goes, "Who's ready for story time with Adam Cole, baby?" He goes, "You have no idea how long I wanted to say that." Now, this is a good news, bad news type of situation. The good news is I have a whole new appreciation for my life. I got to do some really awesome stuff. I'm here in AEW. I missed getting to be here. I was really banged up. I was scared. I was getting MRIs, and the worst part was the sleep. I woke up at 3, 4 in the morning, pacing back and forth, and Britt woke up scared for me. He didn't know what was going on, but so many of you were there for me. I read tweets like, "I miss Adam Cole. I don't care if Adam Cole never wrestles again. I just want him to be okay." And that meant the world to me. Pro wrestling is a give and take type of situation, and I gave you nothing, but you gave me everything. Thank you. Now, the bad news thing is, the bad news is not for me. The bad news is for the whole AEW locker room. Adam Cole is back. And I thought I was finished, but I stand here proudly and I say that I'm back and I will not stop until I am the very best. I haven't even scratched the surface. And this is the day where the new Adam Cole is born. One day, one man will be at the top of the mountain, and his name is Adam Cole, baby. Love it. Absolutely love it. Adam Cole, I'm telling you right now, if Adam Cole's going to be a babyface going forward, I have no issue with that. They got a perfect storyline with Adam Cole and MJF waiting for you. And I would not mind if Adam Cole is the one to take the title off of MJF when the time is right. I would not mind. That's going to be a banger feud. Now, what does Adam Cole do going forward? I don't know. Maybe we see Adam Cole insert himself into the TNT Championship ladder match or the number one contenders match. Maybe he stems a feud from the TNT Championship number one contenders ladder match. We'll see what happens. The Face of the Revolution ladder match. Maybe he stems a feud from that. Let's see. Lee Moriarty and Big Bill, they took on Jungle Hook. This is a very fun match. A very fun match between these two teams. Hook and Jack Perry, they worked over Moriarty before Big Bill came in. He lit up Jungle Boy. He mocked the crowd. He had a big boot on Jungle Boy, and he was in control. Coming back from commercial, Jungle Boy fought back, tagged a Hook. He lit up Lee Moriarty, a nice Northern Lights suplex. Big Bill broke it up. Jungle Boy with some stiff kicks and then a diving drop kick. Big Bill was staggered. Hook got Big Bill up in a T-bone suplex, and he launched him. Big Bill sold the shit out of this. It looked great. And then afterwards, Jungle Boy, after the big pop with the Tazplex, Jungle Boy locked in a snare trap, and Moriarty tapped out. Jungle Hook gets the win. I like it. Maybe we see Jungle Hook in the midst of fighting for the tag team titles. Who knows? Maybe we see Jungle Hook in the Acclaimed. I don't know. That would be interesting. We'll wait and see how that plays out, but this was a very fun match. Very fun match. Konosuke Takeshita, he came out for his match against Bryan Danielson, but all of a sudden, MJF came out. MJF took the mic, the best part of our weekly TV shows. MJF goes, cut my music, cut my music. Daddy's holding the microphone. He then hyped up the crowd, and he said, Takeshita, I haven't watched a lick of your stuff, but don't take it personally, because I always fast forward to the best part of AEW every single week, and that is yours truly. He then goes, what's your name? What's your name? Take a shitta? So Takeshita obviously was not happy. He said something in Japanese, and then MJF said, I don't know if you are accustomed yet, but over here we speak American. Takeshita then said, I said, kiss my ass. I mean, Takeshita and MJF, that should be an interesting matchup if we do get that match. So Aubrey Edwards was backing Takeshita off. MJF then said, you think I can't last an hour? Just ask your mama, your sister, and your skank girlfriend. I'm all about pinning shoulders on mats and banging rats. I was legitimately on the floor crying, laughing. So he then called the crowd irrelevant. He then called out Ken Jong. He said, hey, the star of The Hangover. Was that 20 years ago? But maybe we can still see your series, Dr. Ken. Oh, no, wait. It got canceled. Good. Fuck Ken Jong. Ken Jong is a fucking liberal bitch. Fuck Ken Jong. He then called out Freddie Prinze Jr. Crowd pop for Freddie. I like Freddie. Unlike Ken Jong, I like Freddie Prinze Jr. I think Freddie Prinze Jr. is great. I like Freddie Prinze. I thought that Freddie Prinze Jr. and his idea to start a wrestling promotion is fantastic. And you know what? If he does, dude, let me be a heel manager. I will be the heel manager, and I will do wonders for you, bro. So he said, Freddie, you may know him from She's All That, but you see, I don't know anything about that because I was born in 1996 and I'm not a dinosaur. The only thing I remember Freddie from is when he played a supporting role to a CGI talking dog. So with all due respect, you are nothing more than a Scooby-Dooby douchebag. Scooby-Dooby douchebag. And there's actually people that had a problem with this promo. Specifically what he said to Takeshita. Oh, God, cut your racist promo. Oh, God, this is so insensitive. Takeshita. Shut up! I don't know if you are aware of this, you fucking retards, but MJF is a character on a television show. It's not real. It's not real. He's playing a gimmick. You don't think that Tony Khan and MJF and Takeshita went over that before the promo actually took place? Here's my advice to you. I stop being so insensitive. Here's my advice to you. How about you stop being pussies? If you stop being pussies, society would be a much better place. The world is a much better place without sensitive snowflakes and social justice warrior retards. It is. Anyone that had a problem with this promo, you need to see yourself out and you need to sit your silly asses down and shut your fucking mouths. That's my advice to you. You don't take it, you're I don't give a shit. You don't like what I got to say, make like your mother and suck my cock. So, Bryan Danielson came out. He chased MJF off. This was MJF's funniest promo to date. Oh, yeah, you're so insensitive. Take the cash down. That's all I heard on social media. I swear to God, everyone's a fucking retard. Holy shit. So we get this match with Bryan and Takeshita, and it was an absolute banger of a match. Great fucking match. It is unbelievable how good Takeshita is. The guy is legitimately a prodigy. The guy's a prodigy. So Takeshita with one of the most beautiful looking Blue Thunder bombs I've seen. Fucking phenomenal. Takeshita then with some stiff chops. Bryan then with a flying lariat. He delivered a chop. Coming back from commercial, Takeshita with a lariat to Bryan off the top. Bryan came back with a flying knee. Takeshita and Bryan hit hard. Takeshita came back with a brainbuster on the floor. Springboard senton. Bryan got the knees up. LaBelle lock. It was indeed. Bryan then locked in the rings of Saturn before Takeshita got to the rope. Both men traded strikes. Big lariat by Takeshita. Both men are down. Bryan with the hammer and anvil elbows. Takeshita with the cradle tombstone into a deadlift German suplex. Bryan kicked out. Busaiku knee. Takeshita kicked out. Bryan then with the head stomps. Head stomps by Bryan. And then we get the Regal stretch. And Takeshita was out cold. Great fucking match. Great match. Excellent, excellent, excellent. On Rampage, it was booked that we got Juice Robinson and Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. And we will go over that a little bit later. Toni Storm and Saraya versus Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker. Crowd popped big for Jamie Hayter, and people were complaining that there was no Saraya. Not Saraya. No Mercedes. No Mercedes Moné. I don't really know what anyone expected, but if you guys have been paying attention, they never advertised Mercedes. They never advertised Mercedes, and they didn't keep the spot open. They didn't keep the spot open. The spot was there, and it stayed until last week. They announced that Toni Storm was going to be Saraya's partner last week, and they did that deliberately for two reasons. Number one, because Mercedes was not coming in, and two, because at the end of the day, there is a bigger story with Shida to tell. Mercedes will be in AEW. Not yet. I do believe that she is going to come in around Forbidden Door. I do believe that we're going to get Mercedes defending the IWGP Women's title against someone from the AEW roster. I don't know who, but it's going to be someone from the AEW roster. Maybe Britt Baker. Who knows? Maybe we get Britt Baker and Mercedes at Forbidden Door. We'll have to wait and see. But I don't really understand why everyone got their panties in a bunch. They never advertised or hinted at Mercedes, minus that one line by Britt Baker. And the Britt Baker line, that is a hint of what is to come later on. It wasn't going to happen now, especially considering that this show was loaded with so much other great material that it pretty much would have been overshadowed. It pretty much would have been overshadowed. So I don't really understand why people are mad. You're mad that we're seeing Toni Storm on Dynamite. Now, granted, I can't really put my finger on why Toni Storm is so popular. I've been trying to get to the bottom of it. I've been trying to get to the bottom of this. Now, I bet Toni Storm was very popular when she was in school. I bet that she was in the school yearbook a lot. They probably put a big section in the rear for her. No, but in all seriousness, I think Toni Storm is a very nice individual. I bet that when she's treated badly, I bet that she turns the other cheek. All right, I'm going to move on. So, we had a cannonball off the apron by Saraya. She looked good in this match. We had knees to Hayter. Tag back to Toni. Hayter with a double suplex on Toni and Saraya. Baker with a neck breaker to Toni off the apron. Shida then came out with the kendo stick, and she came out to watch. Toni tagged in Saraya. She lit up Baker. She hit the rising knee in the corner and then hit a nightcap for a 2. Running knee to the head. Tag to Toni. Hip attack connects. And then a tornado DDT. That got a 2. Toni with a cloverleaf before Hayter with a boot to break it up. Toni went back up top. Britt went up top. We had an avalanche. Air raid crash. Storm kicked out. Tag to Hater. Ripcord elbow. Hate breaker. Saraya saved it. German suplex by Storm and then Storm 0, but Baker saved it. Butterfly sit out slam by Baker. Kick to the head by Tony. Sheeta was on the outside as Hater and Storm were both taken out. Both women were down. Rebel got up on the apron. Sheeta slid a kendo stick in there, and she tried to play it off like, oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. But at the end of the day, I think we all kind of knew that Sheeta did that deliberately to get back at Tony Storm and Saraya because Saraya did not choose Sheeta as her partner. And we ended up getting Hater delivering the Haterade. And Hater wins the match. Very good match. Very good match. Didn't need Mercedes. And Sheeta is going to be a heel. I do believe that we will see Sheeta and Tony Storm in a one-on-one match sooner rather than later, which is going to be a great feud. Next week on Dynamite, we got a big show. We got Jake Hager and Ricky Starks next week. We got Bryan Danielson and Bandito. Holy fuck. Bryan Danielson and Bandito. Holy fuck. We also got Kushida making his AEW debut. He is taking on Darby Allin in a TNT title open challenge. Take my money. We're also going to see Orange Cassidy and Jay Lethal for the All-Atlantic title. And we will see the Young Bucks take on Top Flight. Good shit. Really good shit. The JAS came out to address the crowd. 2.0 doing their typical shit. Jericho talked about invading PWG's Battle of LA. He hyped up the street fight on Rampage, and he talked about how Ricky Starks got powerbombed through a table. Starks interrupted with Action Andretti. Starks then said, you couldn't get the job done last week. I'm still standing tall. Chris tried to interrupt. Andretti told Chris to shut up before he goes down there and shoves his baseball bat up his ass. Daniel Garcia then said, don't disrespect him. Andretti said, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that your babysitter, Sammy Guevara, gave you permission to speak. Are you sure Sammy's a good guy? He can't even control his own wife or where her hands go. And last week, they were right between my legs. So Starks then said, Jericho, step to the side. I'm talking to you, Gilligan with the dumb hat. You were a collegiate athlete, and now you're the village idiot with a dumb lisp. Jake then said, I like this hat. He said he's going to slap Ricky Starks' face off of his face. I'm not sure if that was a botch or if that was intentional and it was made to make Jake Hager look stupid. But Starks said, next week I will help you with your speech impediment and you'll be in the ring with someone who is absolute, not ab-tho-lute. Because Jake Hager's got a speech impediment. Slap your face off your face. Main event. Crazy fucking match right here in this main event. It was Death Triangle and the Elite Escalera de la Muerte for the AEW World Trios Championships. The action started right out of the gate. Some of these spots were crazy, so forgive me if I can't keep up with everything. So Kenny, like a maniac, he goes for the Terminator Rising, and he put himself through a table with a Tope Con Hero, and then Matt drove Pac through a table. Coming back from commercial, we had an Escalera Plancha by Nick. Back in the ring, Penta with a back body drop onto a ladder. Phoenix then with a Hurricane Rana off the top onto a ladder to Nick Jackson. Pac then came in with a Poison Rana on Omega. There is no way to make that move look safe. We had super kicks by the Bucks to Pac and Penta. Northern Light suplex by Matt onto the ladder. 450 by Nick to the floor and to Penta through the table. Matt went up. Phoenix stopped him. Alex Abrahantes then stopped him. Brandon Cutler then with the cold spray. And Omega delivered a V-trigger to Abrahantes. Omega went up. Pac with a ring hammer. and then he delivered a Falcon Arrow to Omega on the floor. Matt Jackson came in. A ladder was set up in between the other ladder that was set up in the ring under the championships. They brought in another ladder and created a ladder bridge. So they created a ladder bridge. We then had Phoenix going up. Omega then got back up. Phoenix, after Penta delivered a fear factor to Matt on the ladder, Phoenix went up. Omega then took Phoenix, delivered a one-winged angel off of the ladder bridge to the floor. Omega then went up and he pulled down the Trios Championships, and the Elite are the Trios Champions. This was a crazy match. Also, I really don't understand why people are complaining. I don't understand why people are complaining. At the end of the fucking day, the Elite were the first Trios Champions, and they never got a proper run with it. Are you really going to do the Elite dirty like that and have the Elite go down in history as Trios Champions for 4 days, only to be stripped of them, and then ultimately lose this best of 7 series? I don't really understand. On top of that, what do you want? Do you want the Elite to lose every big match? You really want the Elite to lose every big match that they have? The Elite are not going to be champions forever, and they're not going to be around forever. The Elite winning the Trios Championships are fine. You're telling me that we're not going to get banger matches, and they're not going to help put others over? Look at how many people that the Young Bucks put over in the past. They put over Private Party. They put over FTR. They put over the Lucha Bros. They put over Jurassic Express. They helped get Top Flight over. What about Omega? Look at how many people that he's put over in the past. He put over Jericho, put over Hangman Page. He put over Pac. He put over Moxley. Put over a lot of fucking people. So I don't really know where you're coming up with this notion that the Elite are always at the top. It's fucking stupid. Fucking stupid. The Elite winning the Trios Championships are fine. As predictable as it was fine. Death Triangle had a solid run with the titles. They held the titles for 126 days. They put on banger matches with the Best Friends, the Dark Order. This best of 7 series was one of the best produced series of matches that we've seen. Look at what the Elite can do! Look at what they do. There is absolutely little to no one that is better in the ring than Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks in terms of trios action. At the end of the day, look at the potential opportunities for the Elite, the House of Black, the BCC, the Dark Order. Maybe we see the Embassy from Ring of Honor come up, and maybe the Embassy goes and fights the Elite. Maybe Jay White and the Bullet Club come over from New Japan Pro Wrestling to fight the Elite. Maybe we have Andrade returning next week. Andrade is supposedly returning to Rampage next week. Maybe Andrade is paired with Rush and Preston Vance, and we get La Facción Ingobernales fighting the Elite. Maybe Will Ospreay and Aussie Open come on in and they fight the Elite. The possibilities are endless. And who knows? Maybe Omega and the Bucks could very well lose the Trios Championships as soon as Double or Nothing in May. Maybe they lose the titles at Double or Nothing. Maybe we could very well see Omega as a challenger for MJF going into All Out. Who knows? Who knows? A lot of different opportunities. The Elite winning is not a bad thing. And if you have a problem with that, I'm going to need you to see yourself out. I'm going to need to see your dumbass out of this chat. Dynamite was fantastic. Banger of a show as per usual. Great action. Some storylines are really starting to develop very, very nicely. And AEW has really hit their stride once again. They're on a hot streak. Rampage too. Rampage was pretty solid this week too. Not as good as last week. Last week's Rampage was much better, specifically because it was live, but this week's Rampage was pretty solid as well. SmackDown. I wish I could say the same thing about SmackDown, but SmackDown was pretty much a 3-segment show. Really did not click like it usually has been clicking. We started off the show with Braun Strowman and Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. And we ended up getting a very good match. I would probably say that this was Strowman's best match since his matches with Roman Reigns. His matches with Roman Reigns in 2017, those could be looked at as some of Strowman's best matches. At the end of the day, Gunther, once again, proved to you why he's one of the best in the world, that he can work with anyone, and why he is to be respected, and he is to be treated like the beast that he is. Gunther and Braun Strowman, they ended up putting on a very good match. And I got to give my props to Braun Strowman as well. Braun Strowman has been very good since he's come back. Braun Strowman has been booked very well. Braun Strowman's not been overexposed. Braun Strowman has been putting on pretty decent matches. He put on a fun match with Gable. He put on a fun match with Otis. He put on a fun tag team match with Imperium in that Miracle on 34th Street fight back on December 23rd. So we got some decent matches with Braun Strowman going forward. His match with Omos, it wasn't a good match, but I mean, that was a hell of a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and that in itself is a plus. That in itself should be considered a W for Braun Strowman. Thank God Omos has not been on TV recently. So we ended up getting a very good match. Very good match here. Really wasn't a blowaway, but it was still very good for what it was. It did what it needed to do. Strowman came in with a running shoulder tackle, sending Gunther over the announce table. Coming back from commercial, Gunther sent Strowman into the steps. He then worked over Strowman's shoulder. The shoulder was the story. The shoulder was the story throughout this match. So after that, Strowman tried to mount the comeback, back body drop. Imperium then came out. Gunther then with chops to Strowman. Strowman then came back with a running power slam, spiked Gunther. Gunther just kicked out. Coming back from a second commercial, Strowman, he was locked in, I want to say, a combination of a hammerlock and a Juji Gatami. He was locked in a combination of a hammerlock and a Juji Gatami. Strowman powered up. He powered up Gunther from the floor with one arm. Gunther was upside down. He powered up Gunther with one arm over the top into a one-armed back body drop on Gunther, which was actually very impressive because Gunther is no small man. Both men traded chops. Strowman with a spine buster, that got a 2. Gunther with a wicked forearm. Strowman came back with a clothesline. Gunther with a shotgun drop kick, a wicked lariat. Braun kicked out. Gunther went up top. The diving splash. Gunther only got a 2. Gunther went up to the top. Braun caught him. Gunther wrenched on the injured shoulder, sent the shoulder into the turnbuckle rod. He then delivered a power bomb. It was sloppy, but it was a power bomb nonetheless. He stacked Strowman up, and Gunther beat Braun Strowman clean. Gunther beat Braun Strowman clean in what was a very good match, and probably Braun Strowman's best match of his career since his matches with Roman Reigns. And that was it. Gunther retains, as he should. There was no way that Braun Strowman was going to win the Intercontinental title, nor should he. That's being reserved for Sheamus. And that was it. It was a very good match. Went about 22 minutes to kick off SmackDown, and that was it. Nothing too crazy. And Gunther retains the championship, as he should. Now, what happens going forward? Well, I can see things working out two ways for Gunther. But first things first, Braun Strowman. Pierce announced that we're going to have a #1 contenders tournament to see who's going to fight the Usos for the SmackDown tag team titles. Now, if that's the case, then I can absolutely see Braun Strowman and Ricochet being in that tournament because they've sort of formed a bond. They've sort of formed a friendship. And if anything, that'll probably be a solid role for both men. That'll be a solid role for both men at the end of the day, because in the end, Strowman and Ricochet, they did very good in that match with Imperium. And at the end of all of it, we could end up getting Strowman and Ricochet winning the tag team title tournament and potentially fighting the Usos. I'm looking ahead towards the Chamber. If you want to load up the Elimination Chamber to be a big, big show, I would not mind having Strowman and Ricochet win the #1 contenders tournament and then go on to fight the Usos at the Chamber. They won't beat the Usos, but it should be a very entertaining match nonetheless. That's how I see things happening. Where does Gunther go? Gunther, I either see him taking that title into WrestleMania and fighting Sheamus, or let's just say for argument's sake that the report that they want to do Gunther and Lesnar, let's say that that is true. Let's say that that is true. If we're going to do Gunther and Lesnar, Gunther's going to have to lose the championship. I can see Gunther in the Rumble eliminating Brock Lesnar, and then I can see Gunther then defending the Intercontinental title at the Chamber against Sheamus, and then Gunther is fucked over by Brock Lesnar. I could see Gunther going into the Chamber and Brock Lesnar showing up in Montreal, costing Gunther the IC title. Sheamus wins the title. He takes that title into WrestleMania, and we end up seeing Gunther and Lesnar that way, with Sheamus going into WrestleMania as the Intercontinental title. That's how I see things happening. But this was a very good match, and both men did their job. Can't complain. Rey Mysterio, he came out to address the WWE Universe. He talked about how the holidays are a very exciting time for me, and you should cherish the time that you spend with your family. I didn't have a very Merry Christmas because my son tried to ruin things once again. Now he's rocking around like some hard criminal. As a man, I'm pretty fed up. I know what I need to do. I need to look towards a brighter future and a fresh start. And that means entering and winning the Royal Rumble match. Karrion Kross then came out with Scarlett. He stared at Rey. He goes, well, 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 in the flesh, Mr. Rey Mysterio. I heard you talking about goals, and you know what? You need goals. You need goals because I don't know how else you manage to peel your old broken ass out of bed every morning. 17 years ago, Rey won the Royal Rumble. Relax, it was 17 years ago. He then said it must have been a special moment for you, and for Dominic too. Oh, but you weren't really there for Dominic, were you? Dominic's father was a real-life superhero, but you weren't really around for him, were you? Let me ask you this, Rey. Are you mad at Dominic for not growing up to be like you, or are you mad at yourself for not raising your son to grow up to be just like you? So Kross obviously was really hitting hard. Rey attacked. Scarlett got involved. Kross then, with the cross jacket, and Rey passed out. This was a very good promo by Kross. Loved the way that he carried himself. Loved the vibe. Loved how Karrion Kross just really hammered in on Rey Mysterio. And he got some good heat. I do believe that Kross and Rey Mysterio are going to put on a great match. I think Rey's going to lead Kross to the best match of his main roster run thus far. Kross and Rey, I think they're going to have a great match in 2 weeks. I'll tell you what wasn't great. Tegan Nox and Xia Li. This match legitimately went 2 minutes. Absolutely nothing of note. Nox wins with the shiniest wizard. And I don't understand why we are getting 2-minute matches. Why are we getting matches that legitimately are the length of a fucking YouTube video? We should not be getting matches that are the length of a short YouTube video. There should be no match on Raw or SmackDown, minus a squash match, that should be going under 10 minutes. This is not how Tegan Nox is going to get over, and this is not how Xia Li is going to get over. Please. Enough with this shit. So we also got Pierce. He did announce a #1 contenders tournament, and next week, Drew and Sheamus are going to fight the Viking Raiders. It's going to be a very hard-hitting matchup, but I really don't understand why this is just for a shot at the SmackDown Tag Team titles. I am still trying to understand why the fuck we are getting the titles being split up. That is not going to work. The brand split needs to end. Someone from WWE needs to grow a pair of nuts and stand up to the networks ASAP, because it's not working. Not anymore. 2016, brand split was needed. 2023, no. No. I'll tell you, though, what was awesome, though. Bray Wyatt, he returned as the Eater of Worlds, quote unquote. Not sure if this is a thing going forward, but this is a great start to what I hope will be the introduction of the Wyatt Six. So Bray Wyatt came out with a rocking chair. Wyatt sat down in the rocking chair. He said, "Green Bay, we're here. Sometimes we forget who we are. All it takes is a little push." Little Joker reference right there. Little Heath Ledger Joker reference right there. Sometimes you just gotta revel in what you are. I remember who I am. I am the color red in a world full of black and white. I am the Eater of Worlds. I am the Eater of Worlds. I am Uncle Howdy. I am him. I am Bray Wyatt. But who are you? He said. He goes, "It will be my true rebirth at the Royal Rumble. And as for you, LA Knight, when the lights go out, you should run." For the short amount of time that it went, this was great. And I'll tell you why this was great. This was great because the Eater of Worlds was, is, and forever will be Bray Wyatt's best gimmick. The Eater of Worlds was the character that Bray Wyatt had the best matches of his career with. Bray Wyatt was pretty much playing the role of Sheamus under the Eater of Worlds character, and he was putting on banger after banger after banger. Bryan Danielson, Dean Ambrose, then Jon Moxley, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. I remember Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt had some very good matches. Chris Jericho and Bray Wyatt had some very good matches. Bray Wyatt needs to operate more towards the Eater of Worlds side. With the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt, and the Wyatt Six forming, this is going to make Bray Wyatt into what we know he should have always been. Bray Wyatt, Eater of Worlds, Wyatt Six, they are winning matches on a weekly basis. This is going to help get them over. This is what is going to take Bray Wyatt to the next level. If Bray Wyatt is going to lean more towards the Eater of Worlds side, that is what we need. We need Eater of Worlds Bray Wyatt. And to be quite honest with you, I was actually hoping Bray would have come back right out of the gate as the Eater of Worlds. The Eater of Worlds Bray Wyatt is the best Bray Wyatt. The Eater of Worlds Bray Wyatt is the perfect dose of in-ring intensity. It's the perfect dose of great promo, and it's the perfect dose of character, not to a point where we're going to see all this voodoo hocus-pocus magic. It's perfect. Bray Wyatt, Eater of Worlds, going forward, book it, period. Plain and simple. Liv Morgan versus Raquel Rodriguez. Another short match, 5 minutes, complete waste of time. Liv Morgan brought out a table. She didn't even use it. She didn't even fucking use it. Liv Morgan brought out a table. She ended up catching a Tejana bomb, and Raquel gets the win. Why? I have no fucking idea. No fucking idea. Stupid. 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 You want to talk about stupid? Sonya Deville and Charlotte Flair had a brawl in the back. So Sonya Deville was trying to campaign to Adam Pearce that she wants another shot at Charlotte Flair. She wants another shot at Charlotte Flair. Don't know why. Don't know why. Don't know why. But She was pitching to Adam Pearce that she wants a shot at Charlotte Flair. So Pearce wouldn't give it to her. She started a brawl with Charlotte Flair in the back. I don't know what the fuck Charlotte Flair was wearing. Charlotte Flair, she was wearing this one piece pink suit. I don't know where she got it from. She legitimately looked like a Teletubby. She looked like a fucking Teletubby. What the fuck was she wearing? What was she wearing? She did not look visually appealing. She does not look visually appealing on a normal day. She really doesn't. Too much plastic surgery and a terrible wardrobe. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. This was some excellent stuff right here. Both the match and the ending. So, Sami Zayn took over control early. Tope Con Hero and a brainbuster to Owens on the apron. Coming back from commercial, Owens came back with a frog splash for a 2. Sami with a blue thunder bomb for a 2. Owens then came back with a lariat. Both men are down. Coming back from the second commercial, Owens with a swanton bomb. Sami got the knees up. Owens kicked out. Owens then with an avalanche fisherman suplex. Zayn kicked out. Zayn went for the haluva kick, but the Bloodline attacked, causing a DQ. Now, if you guys paid attention earlier on in the show, it was said by the wise man, Paul Heyman, that the Bloodline were not there. Roman said that the Bloodline were not going to be there because they wanted Sami to take care of business. But then the Bloodline show up here. Sami was not pleased. Solo then hit a Samoan spike on Owens. He was draped out on the announce table, and the Usos were trying to talk some sense into Sami, saying, this is what you want. This is what we want. Solo then with a splash off the barricade through the table to Kevin Owens. Solo, once again, showing you why he's one of the best in the Bloodline. And that was pretty much it. The Bloodline cost Sami Zayn. So I don't know what it is. Is it the fact that they don't believe Sami Zayn can get the job done? Sami was very hesitant. It's just another layer being added onto this storyline. I love it. Realistically, outside of the Open and outside of the main event, complete waste for SmackDown. Not really a blow-away show whatsoever. Neither was Rampage, but at least Rampage had some solid material going on. Rampage, we had a 3-match format, and I'd like to hope TK's listening to me. 3-match format. We got 3 matches on Rampage. 3 matches on Rampage. Exactly what we need. 3 matches and a couple of segments. So, Rampage kicked off with Juice Robinson versus Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. This was a pretty solid match. Not the best, but it was a little bit more slow-paced. I'm guessing that's because of Juice Robinson. Juice Robinson works a little bit more of a slow pace. I actually prefer the Mike Bennett match over the Juice Robinson match when it comes to Darby Allin, but not to say this was bad. It was not bad at all. This was not a bad match. So, Juice and Darby, very technical to begin the match. Darby was then launched over the top onto the apron. Juice then whipped Darby into the barricade and then into the steps. Juice was in control. Coming out from commercial, Juice with some punches and a stiff chop. Darby then came back with a shotgun dropkick and a very nice suicide dive. Juice then with a Booker T-like Harlem sidekick for a 2. Senton by Juice. Second one and a third one. That got a 2. Darby was then caught with a fireman's carry gut buster. He kicked out. Juice went for a cannonball, but he missed. Darby with the code red. Juice kicked out. Darby and Juice were up top. We had a lariat off the top. Juice with a jackhammer for a 2. Juice chopped Darby back up top. Darby then from the top. It looked like Juice was going for a superplex. Darby with a beautiful avalanche scorpion death drop from the middle rope. He then hit the coffin drop, and Darby gets the win. Very good match. Very good match for what it was. And Darby Allin, he is really building himself a solid reputation as the TNT champion with these open challenges. I can't wait to see what happens with Kushida. I think that's going to be great. And Juice Robinson, he's doing all right. I don't really know where he goes. I see him gravitating a little bit more towards Ring of Honor, though. But Juice Robinson, him and Darby, solid match. Solid match kickoff Rampage. The Acclaimed, they did their rap, and Caster, he rapped about hiding documents like Joe Biden and selling out for blood money. Love it. Love Max Caster. Great pop as per usual. So Bowens told LA that they love the singing because they were singing, "Oh, Scissor Me Daddy." It's great. He then said, "We are in the mecca of pro wrestling, and that is AEW. We will cement our legacies with the new star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame because everyone loves the Acclaimed." All of a sudden, the Guns came out. Austin and Colton Gunn came out. They called their segments garbage. He said, "National Scissoring Day, garbage. The daddy-ass birthday celebration, trash." Austin then said, "You are not stars, and you're only popular because you stole our dad away from us. We deserve a Walk of Fame." So Billy Gunn then faked an olive branch to the Guns. The Acclaimed then pantsed the Guns. They pantsed the Guns. They embarrassed them. And they shoved the Guns over the Hollywood cement star thing, whatever they were going to do. And that was pretty much it. The segment was fine up until the ending. I don't really know why we needed to have the Gun Club embarrassed like that. But this was pretty much a little preview of what is to come. We will get the Gun Club versus the Acclaimed. The question is Billy Gunn going to turn on the Acclaimed? I don't know. It's always a possibility that Billy Gunn could turn on the Acclaimed. I'm just throwing it out there. Now, I wouldn't do the match yet. I would wait a little bit, but I absolutely see. I see the Gun Club and the Acclaimed fighting at some point, which should be a decent match. I have no issue with that. The Kings of the Black Throne. This is Malachi Black and Brody King, and my God, do they look great. Kings of the Black Throne versus Eddie Kingston and Ortiz. So Eddie was over here. Ortiz took it to Brody King with a sliding drop kick. Eddie and Ortiz weren't too trusting of each other because Malachi Black is trying to play mind games with both of them. He looks like he's trying to recruit Ortiz, and he looks like he's really trying to get Eddie Kingston to slip into madness. That's what it looks like. So Kingston with a stiff chop on Black. Black came in with a kick. They both sat down Indian style, and they had a face-off. So coming back from commercial, Kingston was on the receiving end of a cannonball by Brody King. And my God, does that shit hurt or does that shit fucking hurt? Oh, shit. That shit must suck. So Kingston came back with an enziguri and a half-and-half suplex. Tagged Ortiz. Ortiz hit a leaping DDT on Black. Exploder suplex by Kingston. Black kicked out. Kingston then didn't want the tag. We had a leaping knee by Black. Ortiz then leaped off the top into a knee. We had a backdrop driver by Kingston on Black. Brody was then sent out. Buddy Matthews and Julia Hart came out. Julia Hart distracted the ref while Buddy Matthews tried to slide in with a chair. He was caught red-handed. All of a sudden, Kingston threatened to hit Julia Hart with the chair. Ortiz saved Julia from getting hit with the chair because he thought that Kingston was going to hit her. Kingston was on the receiving end of the Sin Eater by Malachi Black. Black pushed out Ortiz, and Black pinned Kingston for the 1-2-3 win. House of Black wins, as they should. as they should. House of Black wins. Pretty decent match. Pretty decent match. The question is, what is going on with Kingston and Ortiz? There's dissension between them. Now, I'm not really sure how they're going to play that out. But maybe they're looking to pair Ortiz with the House of Black because Santana is probably not coming back. We are probably getting the end of Proud and Powerful, and Santana wants to branch off and do his own thing. I'm not really sure what is going to come, but that's pretty much where we're looking down the barrel of. Not really sure I like Ortiz in the House of Black. I really don't think that's needed. I really don't think that's needed at all. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. Now, Kingston. I guess that Kingston is going to be on his own. I do believe that we will be getting Kingston and Malachi Black at some point, that's going to be a great match. I know for a fact that's going to be a great match. So keep our eyes peeled for Kingston and Malachi Black. That's going to be good. Paul Walker Hauser. He was interviewed by Renee Paquette, and I actually didn't mind this as much as I thought I would. He came out and he stated how he loves pro wrestling and how he will always bypass Connecticut and go straight to Jacksonville. All of a sudden, out came Danhausen. He said that he is the #1 merch seller in AEW, or he was, but he wasn't given a physical award. Hauser wanted to give him his Golden Globes award. All of a sudden, Jarrett, Lethal, Dutt, and Singden came out. Dutt came out with his pencil, obviously. They didn't utter a word. Paul Walker Hauser, then roasted Jeff Jarrett, stating that he's not in Memphis. You're in my home turf of LA. And before you even go on about how you say pro wrestling's in your blood and you invented the figure 4, might I remind you that you never play that stupid guitar that you come out with, and your crew, is dressed for a homeschool prom. I didn't mind that. I think that's great. I think Jarrett and his posse being roasted, there you go. And then, what did they do? They didn't even utter a word. They attacked Danhausen, and all of a sudden, Jarrett took the guitar, and he blasted Paul Walker Hauser. I almost said Hausen. He blasted Paul Walker Hauser in the head with this guitar. Hauser took this like a champ. And you know what? I love that use of a celebrity. If Jarrett's going to come out here and he's going to hit celebrities in the head with his guitar, I don't have a single issue with that. Hauser took that shit like a champ. He took that shit head on. No BS. And you know what? Props to Hauser because he respects the business, and he did that for the business. So this was done pretty much for no other reason but to book a match between Jay Lethal and Orange Cassidy for Wednesday, which I have no issue with. That's going to be a great match. I'll tell you what else was a great match. The main event of Rampage. Holy fuck. The main event of Rampage. Ruby Soho and Willow Nightingale versus Ty Conti and Anna Jay. This was a street fight. And this was very, very good. Now, it only went about, 2 minutes? Not 2 minutes, 13 minutes. It only went about 13 minutes, but I mean, holy shit. Was it a good match? So, we got a brawl right out of the gate. Willow got a table, and she set it up on the stage area. Tay Mello and Anna Jay, they took over. Soho was then sent into the post. Tay delivered a diving foot stomp to Soho while Soho was headfirst in a trash can. Soho was bleeding. Coming back from commercial, Willow then got dropped on a trash can with the Widow's Peak, or the Gory Bomb, rather. Willow kicked out. We had barbed wire. Anna Jay went for the Queen Slayer with the barbed wire. Soho then punched Anna with a chain. We had a trash can lid to the back of Ruby. Tay set up a bed of chairs. We got a Tower of Doom superplex spot onto the chairs. Soho was bleeding like a stuck pig. Legitimately. Soho was bleeding like a stuck pig. She was not afraid to go in there and get dirty. So Anna Jay was then in the corner. She then had a trash can put right by her. Willow delivered a spine buster to Tay, and then a cannonball to Anna with the trash can. Jay kicked out. Willow then with a Death Valley driver to Anna on the apron. Tay then with a shot with the trash can lid. Up the ramp goes Jay and Willow. Ty Mello delivered a Gotch pile driver off the apron to Soho through a table, while Willow, this was nuts. Willow went for a Dudley Boyz style powerbomb. She went for a Dudley Boyz style power. You know that powerbomb that Bubba Ray does, that he did back in the day where he powerbombed all these women through tables, right? Willow went for it. Willow went through the table ass first. And Anna Jay, she bounced off the LED stage, which looked absolutely, it was like an LED stage or it was concrete. One of those two. It looked fucking brutal. I'd be surprised if she is walking okay after that. So back in the ring, after Tay hit the Gotch style pile driver through the table, back in the ring, she pinned Soho. Soho kicked out. So Ty Mello's had enough of this. She says, fuck this. She got a black leather bag, and what was in the bag? I mean, fucking thumbtacks. Of course it was fucking thumbtacks. I mean, come on. When there's a street fight, there's got to be thumbtacks. So we got thumbtacks. She then went for a pile driver into the tacks. Ruby Soho threw tacks at her face, and then Ruby Soho delivered Destination Unknown to Ty Mello into the tacks. And Soho wins it. Listen, you can go and hate on Ty Mello and Anna Jay all you want. You can say how they're not ready. You can say how they're not ready for TV and blah, blah, blah. But let me tell you something. Those two women, they are not afraid to go in there and fucking take some bumps. They are not afraid to go in there and put their bodies on the... Anna Jay took some nasty fucking bumps. She got Tower of Doom superplexed onto a chair. She got a Death Valley driver onto the apron, and she got powerbombed off the ramp. She missed the table completely and hit the LED stage. I mean, if that does not tell you that Anna Jay is not afraid, she is not afraid to go in there and take a beating, I don't know what does. But for 13 minutes, this was a very good match, and we got the right outcome. Ruby Soho and Willow, they won the street fight as they should, and Ruby Soho can move on. I want to see Ruby Soho potentially fight Jade, or maybe we see Ruby Soho versus Athena for the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see what happens. But Rampage was a solid event. Not better than last week, but it was still solid. Rampage has gotten a lot better. They have really put a lot of effort into Rampage to try and get it back to where it was. And I'd like to hope it will continue going forward. Good stuff. Good stuff from AEW's side of the fence. And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. I would like to thank each and every single one of you. I'd like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into the stream. You guys are fantastic, as per usual. Thank you, Hoolgrim. Thank you, Danielle Wolf. Thank you, Dee Dee. Thank you, Peanuts. Thank you, everyone. You guys are great. Please don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Check out all the links in the description. And, of course, Wrestling Experience with Earl Cole next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Hello, Anya. Hello, Anya. I know I know her. She is a great YouTuber. I'm glad that she is back in the game and doing some good YouTube videos. I hope to see plenty of more good content from her in terms of YouTube. She's a fantastic content creator. But thank you all for joining. You guys are fantastic, as per usual. Wrestling Experience with Earl Cole next Thursday. In 2 weeks' time, on Thursday, January 26th, Mitch Kovsky's coming back on my show. Mitch Kovsky's coming back on my show. Mitch Kofsky's coming back on my show, and he is going to be the guest on the rundown for the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble, which should be a great event, and we should get a lot of good material coming into the Rumble. I'd like to hope that Vince will not insert his creative flair into the Royal Rumble, but unfortunately, I expect the worst. But AEW is doing some really good material, and they are all guns blazing going into Revolution. So we have that to look forward to. But you guys are great as per usual. Thank you for stopping by. I'm DJ Storms. This has been the Lightning Flash Update. But before we get out of here, you got to answer a question, people. There is but one very important question that everyone must answer at the end of every single stream that I do, and that is, who runs the IWC? Oh, who runs the IWC? Oh, who can it be? I'll tell you who! But DJ motherfucking Storms. Don't you forget it.